So for this particular kind of problem, the goal is this. We've got two groups of guys. We've got the fifers and the drummers. The fifers play the fife. The drummers play the drums.
Wow.
I know. Go fig.
Drummers are annoying, because they always are.
We can save commentary about drummers and fifers later. But the idea is that when I line my guys up, so here's just some arrangement of guys. You don't need to copy this down per se. That each group is set up so there's the same number of guys in each row. So that when they're marching, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if that's right or not. I just made those numbers up. The idea is that it's a block all the way through. And that nobody shares in the formation. You have all the drums in one spot and all the fifes in another spot. Never the two shall mix. Now, we don't do this with marching bands usually because there's so many different instruments to organize that you can't get that ideal. You can't have block of flutes, block of clarinets, block of saxophones. You can, but you rarely have the right numbers to get your formation perfect for everybody. You're always going to have a couple of flutes in with the clarinets and a couple of saxophones creeping up on the trumpets, and maybe a trombone has to march back in the baritone line. It's just going to happen. So here's the trick. Let me get this out of the way so that's not part of our confusion. What we've got is 12 drummers, 18 fifers. Let's put F. Yes, now you're taking notes again. So the question really comes down to what's the greatest common factor between those two numbers? The what? Oh, break it down? Yeah. If you don't spot the GCF right off the bat, break it down. So 2 and 6. Now remember, if certain students are in the room, you have to make sure it's in smaller, bigger order because they freak out. See? So that's going to be 2 squared times 3. And then 18, that factors as 9 and 2, 3 and 3. So that's going to be 2 times 3 squared. You pull out the common ones. So the greatest common factor is 2 times 3, which is 6. Now, the problem with these problems is that it's not just usually set up in the question of what's the greatest common factor of 12 and 18. You have to think past that. For example, this one goes on to ask, well, all right, how do you arrange it so that there's an equal number of people in each row? How many rows are there total, and how many columns are there? Yeah. And this is where things get kind of weird. So you use that GCF to organize it. As long as the numbers are small, you can actually make a sketch. If the numbers get bigger, that's when you have to start kind of playing around a bit. If the greatest common factor is 6, that is the number of guys, number of people in a row. So when I organize the formation up, so here are the fifers at the front. There are going to be 6 guys this way. So how deep is that? Our drummers. There are 6 drummers wide. How deep is that? Too deep, because there's 12 total guys, right? So I have 2 rows of drummers, total of 12 guys, 6 wide, 2 deep. So now when I go to the next group, let's put the fifers behind them. Probably should do it the other way around, but it's too late now. I've committed. They're also going to be 6 wide, right? Because that's the goal. Have that part of the formation still be 6 people wide. How deep is that? 3, for a total of 18 guys. So my overall formation is how big? 6 rows, 6 columns, 5 rows of people. So it's going to be, where'd my pen go? There it is. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys here, and I have 3 of those. And then in front of them, color. In front of them are going to be 2 rows of 6 guys. So that's what my overall formation is going to have to look like. It is. My worry is that you don't answer the question that's asked. Because it's real easy to look at those two numbers and go, oh, greatest common factor, I can find that. Greatest common factor of 12 and 18 is 6. Done. But the question might not be, how many guys do we put in each row? The question might be, how many rows are there? And in this case, it's not 6 rows, it's 5 rows, 6 columns. So it sometimes helps, to, if the numbers are small enough, to make the quick sketch so you can kind of visualize what you're looking at. Now, in fairness, when we are tasked to do this kind of thing, it's faster if you can remember the rule about the GCF between the two numbers in order to make it easier to make a quick sketch on some scrap paper to be sure the formation looks right. And that does happen. Yeah.
What if the numbers aren't like that? Like, because those ones are like, because 6 and 3, but what if they don't add up? Like,
What if there is no greatest common factor?
well, yeah.
Then you can't do it.
And they're not like the same.
Would you give us a question like that?
I would not give you a question like that now.
And do it. So.
Yeah, that because it's not fair. I mean, it's asking you to do something that can't be done. At that point, you turn around and say, I know you want to have the same number of guys in each row, but I'm telling you right now, it can't be done. We're going to have to put some drums in with the fifes or some fifes with the drums, or somebody's got to sit out. That's all you can do about it. Well, you can ask people to sit out.